Welcome to my new lovely Los Angeles fabulous kitchen. We've taken the show from New York to LA for a couple of episodes, and I am so excited about what we have in store today. I'm Africa Miranda, the host of the Africa Miranda Show, and we are about to get into it. Now, I couldn't come to California and not have a Hollywood conversation. The Africa Miranda Show is all about digging deep and getting the tea on what you want to know. As an actress of color, it can be a challenge just to navigate your way in this business. I've been on sets where my hair has been totally damaged. I've had makeup artists not know what to do with my skin. I've even had my time, after being on a reality show, even question my own journey and how I'm representing for the culture. We're going to get into that today and more. I am so excited to welcome two women who are up next, and I'm honored to have them here and can say that I had them here when. We'll be welcoming Nia Jervier of Dear White People and Stepsisters, and Sibongile Mlambo, who has been in everything from Teen Wolf to Lost in Space, Honey 3, and so many great credits on her resume that you absolutely need to know that she's one that you're going to see. So help me welcome these wonderful women to the show, and let's get into some great conversation. Ladies, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you guys here. Thank you. Mwah. Beautiful, beautiful. Mwah. I'm like, welcome to the Africa Miranda Show, LA. It's very good to say that. I love it. I've been using the show kind of as an excuse to have all my girlfriends in my head now be here. I'm like, and now we're friends in real life, so I love it. One of the first things that I wanted to really jump in with you guys is that there's always a point, I think, in every creative's career where you go from aspiring to like, oh, now I've booked like these jobs that are, legitimate, so to speak, and people start to recognize you and life changes. How has that journey been for both of you?
It's been interesting, and so I'm Zimbabwean, so my career started in South Africa and Cape Town because a lot of international work comes and shoots there.
Yes.
And so I guess making the transition to America and actually doing it's completely different. When you come to LA, I mean, a lot of people have their own perceptions of what LA is like, and I feel like you have to come here and actually experience it to feel what it's like. Yeah. But it does change. It's nice getting, people. I was scared one time in the subway. I use the metro here.
Oh wow!
LA has a subway.
I always hear that there's a subway in LA. I've never actually seen it. This alone is amazing. But continue.
And someone came up to me. He came up to me very excitedly, and it was in the evening, and so I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh my God, what's about to happen? He's doing drugs. But he was like, oh, you're on my favorite show, you're on Sirens. And I was like, oh my God.
I love Sirens. Yes, so good.
And so it kind of calmed me down. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I let my guard down and I interacted with him. But it's nice to go grocery shopping or in IKEA. There was a family with kids, and they had been watching Lost in Space, and the kids, recognized me. And so I think getting recognized it really warms my heart because I feel like it's such a big deal. It kind of gives you credibility and validation.
Definitely.
Like, oh, people are watching.
Right, like
being honored for your work.
Absolutely. Now, Nia, you are on, I feel like Dear White People is the show of Black Twitter, Black social media. Like, there is no, every time it's like, I feel like every time the season comes out, it's like this whole, there's so many things that you guys dive into. How has it been for you with people associating, because I know a lot of people can't separate the person from the character.
Absolutely. They're like, she is very naive.
Yes.
So, and I'm sweet and I'm polite, but I'm not naive.
Right.
So they're always like, are you like her? No, it's a different person.
Yeah. It's a character.
So, absolutely. So I think she gets a bit of a bad rap, but I like it. I think it is nice to be honored for my work as well. But I think the biggest difference to being like a constantly working actor now is I guess where I am now is a place that I dreamt or prayed to be. But then you think it's gonna, but it would be so easy when I do this. Right. Or if I can get to this place, it'll be so much better. And then you get there and you're like, oh wow, there are all of these additional responsibilities and additional expenses to maintain it.
And expectations then.
Absolutely, expectations. People to add to your team to make it work and to turn this job into a career.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like it's almost like a Pandora's box.
Yeah.
So the deeper you go, the more you discover these things, and it's like, wow,
There is no making it. There's like making something and then continuing and growing and building.
You're constantly building on it. And I don't think that it's something that I could have been taught. Like, I don't think in theater school they prepared me in business management for this portion. You just have to jump in and like hope it works out.
It's like trial and error.
Absolutely.
It is. That's actually a good point, because you're right. I don't think that as creatives we're given those tools, because those are some of the things that can really make or break your career. Because there's always those people you're like, oh, I thought that they were going to be this, and you find out that a lot of their behind the scenes stuff wasn't together,
wasn't managed properly. Right. That's why I have the best manager ever. I'm so grateful for him. So I feel like, because I trust him implicitly, I'm able to lean in and work as a team to feel secure in navigating it. Yeah.
Now I want to get into a little juicy stuff. Now, one thing that's happened with me is that as like my career has grown and changed, and even with like social media, I'm like, dating is a thing. It's become challenging when you have somewhat of a public persona, and people, I think, don't know how to interact with that, or they feel like, you know, it's like it changes a lot, and it has changed a lot for me. How has it been for you with now like navigating like social media and this world of being a known actress, and like how has that changed for you?
I feel like, and I don't want to, I don't want to put it out into the universe, but I'm going to be honest. I think dating in LA as a Black woman and a dark one is an interesting experience.
Okay, I'm glad you were very specific.
Yes, I think that I grew up in New York, and I'm Trinidadian. Yes. So how I expect a man to approach me is a little different than I think it's done here.
If I'm being honest.
How to explain that? I don't know. My experience, I'm not gonna say for everyone. I think that the approach is a little bit more passive.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, you're so right.
So, and I don't mind leading or meeting you halfway, but I think there's just like a bit of confusion there. And also, people come here to be something, and I think that so often, and I am definitely guilty of this, I've put my career before looking for a relationship, and it's something that you have to nurture and like, you know, decide that you want to manifest or seek out.
Because you think like, oh, when I'm ready to do it now, it'll all be here, and it's like, oh, actually.
Absolutely. And you're like, wait, the time is coming.
Where did everybody go? Like,
Yeah, so I feel like maybe, I don't want to say it's definite, but perhaps these men are not approaching you in that way because they're so busy trying to be something and don't feel like they have it together enough for that. So it's been it's interesting.
It's interesting. Now, I know that you are in a relationship. Is your partner a creative as well, or is he someone that's not in the business?
He is, yeah. So I feel like I got very lucky. He's not from LA.
Oh, wow.
Because
that's why.
Yeah, I did try dating in LA for a little bit, and it was just, I was like, woo, this is not for me. But he's based out of New York, and he's a model.
Oh my God! You see, New York.
Well, I'm in New York, so it's not.
I know.
It's not that much better.
See, I don't believe this.
No, it's true. I lived in New York for a little bit. I feel the same big city type of thing.
You know what it is? I think it's similar to what you said. Everybody there is so driven and trying to get things done.
I get out at JFK and I'm like, thank God.
Well, I need to get off at that terminal because the ones where when I land on the plane, it is nothing there. Okay. I think for me the challenge has been, I feel that a lot of men watch my life on social media and they see, okay, I'm on set doing the show, I'm on my book tour, I'm doing these things, and I wonder just if, as you know, as my career is growing, and I wonder if you guys wonder about this too, do people like struggle with finding a place, or maybe looking at your life and feeling like there's no place for them there?
I feel like if a man approaches you, he won't assume that you're busy or assume things about. I feel like it's like boy behavior.
It's definitely boy behavior. But there's a lot of boys out there. I'm like, where's the man child? Like and it's just. You know, I think it's so wonderful. I love seeing Black Girl Magic and everybody's having these great careers and we're producing and directing and acting and doing all these things. But I know so many women that are so talented and so single.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of amazing Black girls surrounded by more
amazing Black girls. Yes. Well, except for you. She's like, but I have a man. Sibongile's like,
I have a man. But I'm lucky. And the thing is, once I got into that relationship, I was very... I mean, because I still watch people going through their mess, through the messiness.
Yes.
And I'm just like, be man enough to approach the ladies. Like, and I feel, you know what, if the guys aren't coming, then they're not the ones for you because they're not strong enough and secure enough in themselves not to be intimidated by your career.
I think so too.
Now, to get back to the Black actress conversation, I love that you guys here are representing two different sides of it, because if we're being honest, when you see the term, everybody's thinking of typically American-born, you know, an American-born Black actress. But for Sibongile, you're bringing a totally different perspective. I know there was some pushback about a year ago. I think it was around award season, and I don't remember who said it, so I don't want to put this on them, but there was pushback about actors, Black actors from other countries being recognized or getting roles more than Black actors of American descent that are here.
It was the British.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Killing it right now.
Yes. It was. Yeah.
It's the British Black actors who are
like they're
they are really great actors, and I also do feel that British actors are put on a pedestal because they do have such great training.
They do,
and they are great.
They do.
I'm African, and so it's a very different perspective because a lot of people, you know, they trust British actors to do American accents, but when it comes to African actors, there's not that much trust. So
interesting.
It's you know, having to prove myself. It's much more of an uphill battle because if they haven't encountered a lot of African actresses, there's Lupita Nyong'o,
right,
and the Nia Jervier, who's also Zimbabwean.
Right.
She's American-born
right.
too, but it has been it's a struggle, and people just haven't experienced it, and they have the preconceived ideas too of what African is, and so
they want to tell you what's authentic for who you are or where you're. It's so crazy.
And you're like, I'm actually from there, so can I? Yeah,
exactly. Or if you don't fit into that box, it's just you're so confusing, and people don't know what to do.
Because everyone, I feel like, wants to look at you and be able to place you somewhere very specific, and if you can't, then it's like, well, we don't. I mean,
it's inauthentic if it isn't packaged in a way that they can comprehend.
Yeah. And I'm very lucky to now be on a show where I can just be myself. I don't have to use an accent. I can use my own accent, my own natural hair. So I'm very lucky to have found that family.
I'm happy for you.
So good.
Now, do you feel, I know, Nia, because I feel like when you're American born, there is this pressure when you're a Black woman that every time you're on camera, it's like we're telling the story or representing for every Black woman that has ever come before us and will come after. I love Dear White People because I feel like you show so many different versions of Black girls.
It is
like I look at them just
amazing.
Like it's all of us.
It is the first time I've ever experienced that as an actor or as an audience member. Like absolutely, it's really rare, I think. Or if there is a Black person, there's one, or there's one dark one and one light one, and the light ones behave like this and the dark ones behave like that.
She's probably this size.
Absolutely.
And it's so.
And on our show, I feel like the women have real bodies, and they're different colors, and we might not all behave in the way that it's expected. And it's refreshing for me because I feel like my sensibilities are wrapped in a package that I think confuse people. And so my entire life it's been like, oh, did you say that? Or or after knowing someone for a while, they're like, when I first met you, I thought this. And it's like, no, this is who we're a varied people.
Exactly.
I think it's even something that bleeds into us as a culture. Absolutely. When you see something all the time put in a certain way, even we begin to believe that it's only packaged one way. And so I think that it's really good that diversity is changing, not only with more opportunities for Black people, but more opportunities to showcase different variations and colors of who we are.
Within Black people.
Within those stories. Because I feel like now there's so many different types of programming from, all of your shows, and it's Insecure. It's like this whole, almost like renaissance of Black creativity on screen. And it is. I was telling someone, I was like, I just get so excited to see all the faces. And even if it's a show that I don't love, I'm happy
tuning in,
that we're getting to tell, like you said, so many different types of stories.
The fact that we're even talking about being African American from here, or being from Zimbabwe, or bringing up the Brits, exactly, that's even something that 2 years ago we wouldn't have been able to have that conversation because there wasn't the room.
No,
it wasn't.
That's why we need to be executives and producers and people behind the scenes so that the stories are definitely authentic.
Yes.
If we're just in front of the camera but the stories are being created by people that aren't knowledgeable or don't share our experience, then how can they tell that story?
And I think that's the difference in the quality of what we're getting now, is because the showrunners are people of color. It's women. You know, we're getting the people that should be telling the stories, telling them, so it feels so much more authentic.
Yeah.
Now, before we get out of here, I'm like, we haven't even gotten to the hair and the beauty. Now, I was reading, you know, everything. First of all, I love Strong Black Lead, which, if you guys don't know, is Netflix's whole, like, basically social media presence for representing, like, actors and actresses of color. And you were telling just your hair journeys, which I know for both of you, is, as myself included, is a thing when you're a Black actress on a set.
Yeah.
I know everybody's like, so
where do we begin?
I know. I'm like, part 2 of this episode coming up next.
I remember recently trying to convince my manager to put in my contract, can there be someone on set who is experienced with African hair? Someone like that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, only the number 1 and number 2 were able to get their own hair people.
Gotcha.
But I know whenever I get a job, she knows that hair is going to be
it's always the question.
topic.
It's always the question, and I feel it's so unfair that we have to take on the added responsibility when everyone else can just prep and come to set and just
come with their hair wet.
Yes,
they just shampooed it and show up with it wet, and it's done well.
And then we sit down, and it's like, and you hear the sighs, and you hear the converse, like the whispers behind you, and they're like rifling through their things. And as someone that's preparing to go create or perform,
it takes you out of
it. It does.
It makes you feel really self-conscious.
And I had been in situations where I'm like, and I realized, I was like, why am I apologizing? I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Then I was like, but it's my hair. Like, I shouldn't have to apologize.
It's because you're raised well that you do it, even though I mean, you have a right to say it. Absolutely. I feel like, I don't know. I don't even try it out. I show up on the first day with it done. I go to my salon where I know that my stylist loves on my hair, and I show up with it done. It is so much extra time, and then at first I would just pay for it, and now I bring the bill to them, and I do
That's a good point. Because I'm like, you're having to take extra time and money. So
absolutely.
It's like, I found myself on set having to be the teacher. Like, okay, this is how
I have done that as well.
Edges. This is what you do. Okay, we're gonna wrap it. This is how you should comb it. Don't comb it like that. Don't run you know. So you end up having to teach people, and it can be unfair because she's gonna look amazing, and I'm gonna look not so amazing.
And when you look not so amazing, the people watching the show aren't going to be like, oh, she probably didn't have an experience, with Afro textured hair. They're going to be like, she looks crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah. I did a movie, and I was the only Black girl that was shooting some of the, all of the Caucasian girls that were working with me, they all had hair in their bag. And I didn't really have experience with wearing extensions or wigs or anything. So I was just shocked that they all had bags of hair
and
I didn't. Yeah, and I left that set having to cut my hair off, and I literally wore my hair in a bun for like 2 years just growing. And after that, it is in my, I travel.
No, I've learned it because I did an appearance, and they burnt my hair. Ooh, and this used to be my hair, and then I had to cut off about 90% of my hair.
This is exactly what happened.
And I was like, after that, I come with hair extensions, I come with clip-ins, I come with every piece you can think of, I own it, and I bring it.
The products, you are not using that gel, not the curling iron or the flat iron. I don't even know what those are, and you're definitely not using them on me.
Yeah. And it's just
because one day's work is a year of recovery.
It is, and it's hard to get people to understand that.
On set, you learn. I've learned a lot of little tricks from other people. There was a girl I met. She would buy these crazy expensive wigs, like $4,000, somewhere in Atlanta. I don't know where.
Atlanta would be the place.
She makes the hair and makeup department. They rent the hair piece from her.
Jeez, that is the cheat code.
Yeah,
that's smart.
That's really smart.
Actresses, if you're
they have to pay for it.
And they rent because you're right, because you need it for that, but you don't need it to be destroyed. So you need to be able to recoup that cost.
Yeah,
that's very smart.
It's really
now,
smart.
before we wrap this up, I'm like, I have all this melanin here, and we could not talk about Hollywood without colorism, because I was glad that you touched on it in the dating aspect, but and it's one of those things where I'm happy that we're on screen. But I would be remiss if I wouldn't say that there's still one really specific version of us that is still the version that you see the most.
I definitely agree. In ways, I'm happy for it because I feel like it opens
At least
some
we're there.
doors.
Yeah.
But I feel like as a nation, and because our world in general is so Eurocentric,
Yeah.
it's just even within our Blackness, the characters that we play or the spaces that we occupy are still with that lens.
Yes.
And so I'm happy that it's changing, but I'm excited to see that it happen with more force.
Yeah.
Because I experience it every day.
It's so real. I mean, I know that a lot of the roles that I've gotten have been as the villain, because when people see dark skin, they automatically think, oh, you must be the bad guy.
Exactly.
So that's happened a lot. But I have kind of seen little changes.
It's coming, yeah. It's
tiny little changes. And I just did a recur on MacGyver, and MacGyver he falls in love with an African girl, and I was like, wow, finally, America is ready for that.
Like, yes.
Because it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, because I look at, my relationship and I'm like, this is what's happening, there are interracial relationships in our real life. And Widows, that's coming out.
so excited
You see
about
Viola with her natural hair, and
So
When I
excited
see
for
her
her.
in her glory, it does something inside me. And even now seeing, I feel like there was a time 5 years ago where you wouldn't see actresses on the red carpet without extensions, or just with natural hair, or just natural textured styles. You never saw it, or you would see one random person. And like, to watch now, when you see like
Celebrated.
it just I just see everybody and I'm just like, yes. And I just, and I think about the girls that see it, because growing up, I didn't see anybody
Not at all.
whose hair was not perfectly coiffed.
It's true.
So I'm just happy, like you said, we still have a ways to go, but I'm happy that at least the envelope is starting to be pushed.
I'm excited
and you guys
to
are doing
see
a great
that
job in doing that. So I thank you for your work and what you're creating. Now, the last thing I would love for you to tell the Africa Miranda Show audience, what you want your legacy to be.
I think for me, I want to be able to be remembered as someone that changed the world with her art.
Yes. And for you, Sibongile.
hard question. I just want people who didn't think there was space for them to realize that there is, and that whatever, to fight for whatever it is that you want to do, that it's possible.
Because it is.
To be authentic, I guess.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and to be authentic.
Yeah.
And you two are great examples of that. So thank you for making my first LA episode so special. I'm like, my heart is so warm. I'm like, the Black Girl Magic is very strong with us today. So guys, as always, the Africa Miranda Show is here every Tuesday at noon for new episodes. Please join the Africa Miranda Show group here on Facebook, and also watch the show on Facebook Watch to keep the conversation going. Nia, Sibongile, you two are forces. Make sure to follow these ladies, support their work, support their art. If you love what you've seen today, the way to see more of that is to champion these voices. So I will see you guys next week.